Welcome everyone. I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful oil pastel picture, and I made a watercolor image out of, but they were originally a photograph which I took. Now these beautiful flowers are yellow and red, and they're very bright and vibrant. So I thought that they would make a beautiful oil pastel. These oil pastels that we're going to use are made by Craypaw. You can use any kind. These are the kinds I want to use. And on the inside you can see there's many different colors. And a pencil to draw out the outline, an eraser if you need it, and I use some kind of towelette or Bounty just to clean my hands because they can get kind of messy. You are also going to need some type of watercolor paper. The bigger the better, depending on the size that you want to draw on. But this is the beautiful image I chose to make, and I want to show you how to make it. So I would start by drawing out the flower outline, and I would draw a petal. So one of the petals is like this, and you don't have to press too hard because you're going to be going over it with the Craypaws. Now you can interpret the flowers petals the way you want. It doesn't have to be exactly what you see. And also I'm going to include a photograph, the photograph that I took, on the description down below. So that you can see what it looks like of what I'm drawing. So this one is supposed to be the stem of this flower. Then I tend to draw the exterior petals first, and just go around in a, just go around in a circular motion to make sure that you get most of the petals down first. It can be a little bit loose, your drawing, meaning that you don't have to draw exactly the way it looks. And that's the beauty of pastels, because they're kind of loosely drawn, and they mix into one another very well, and they make these beautiful, beautiful images. So these are the flower petals of the third flower. And there's going to be another one over here, and one more extending out here. Now it has a little pestle in the center, and so does this one, and it has these little stems as well, and I think they're inside each flower actually. And these flowers are so pretty because they're bright red as well as yellow, and they stand out a lot in the garden. So we've got more here and another one here. And then the last thing we're going to draw here are some of the leaves. Now I've interpreted these the way I wanted to draw them because I felt that maybe drawing them in different colors, different color greens, would make them a little more, muted, but stand out a little bit as well, because they're not the central part or central focus of the drawing. So the flowers are. So I don't want them to overpower the actual drawing that I'm going to make. And I'm going to make some leaves as well here. And they're going to be a little bit darker than the flower. Now, I don't know if you can see the difference between the flowers and the leaves yet, but as soon as we start, coloring everything in and blocking them in colors, you'll be able to see what we're drawing. I want to add one more thing to help me, guide me with the flowers, and that would be where the yellow comes in to the flower, because it'll help me block out the red from the yellow, and that is much easier to know where to stop when I'm drawing when I'm laying on the pastel colors. So this is how I do it. I just make a line, and that tells me where I can stop with the yellow and start with the red. One more, and there you have it. Now that we have our pencil outline guides down, we can start by filling in the flower motifs with some color. With oil pastels, it's nice to start off with your lightest colors first. So in our drawing, the lightest color is yellow. So I would use the lightest yellow that I could find and lay it down around the flowers, petals. And then that's the beauty of these oil pastels. You can use different colors and then merge them into one, and they mix very nicely. So I'm going to do the inside of the petals in yellow. Now that we're done with our foundation yellow, we're going to move on to the exterior petals, which is red. So I'm going to take my two red colors and lay down a foundation for those. I'm going to start out with the lighter of my two reds and merge them along the way. Now you can leave a little bit of white gaps because you're going to go over this foundation layer with another color, and that would be the deeper of the reds. And the other petal here, I'm going to outline it and go over it on the interior. And I do this all around for all of the petals that I have for my flowers. Now you want to clean your crayon. Once you've cleaned your oil pastel and taken off some of the paper that surrounds the oil pastel, you're able to continue with your drawing. So we're going to be creating layers of color on the watercolor paper, on the pastel paper. The next color we're going to use is a deeper color of red. And I'm just going to try and do the tip of the flowers with this color. And that way it adds some contrast. And it goes on more smoothly, the color, once you have already laid a foundation for it. And it mixes well, these oil pastels, with the other color that you laid down previously to that one. And you can go over and get all the little white gaps that you have. Mind you, it should be much quicker on the second layer. What you want is to try and make it uniform. What you don't want is to leave little pieces of white where the paper shows through. what you're going to do with these little specks, that's what one of the things that you can do later on when you laid everything down, is push the pastel with your fingers, and it'll smudge, give a nice smudge effect to the little pieces that you have on the paper of the color that you just used. And it gets the paint, the color, the oil down. And it merges the two colors. You need a different finger sometimes for the lighter colors, like the yellow here. And you should do this before you work on the next color that you're going to add to your paper. It's like a progression. You work progressively through the drawing. And it's okay if you go a little bit outside of what you're drawing for the petals, because the last color is going to be a deeper color, a darker color. So you can clean your fingers on the paper, on the Bounty, or on the towelette that we have. Now we're going to lay down a deeper green for the stems of the flower. And we want that to show nicely through the yellow. This doesn't have to be exact, because it's a form of expression. And I'm going to leave these little parts of the pastels for last. And I'm going to make a leaf here. I'm going to use it here as well. So for the leaves on the exterior of the flowers, I have 4 different colors of green, and I'm going to try to alternate them and mix them around so that it looks like, you know, different levels are coming out. So to try and stack them in a different way. I'm going to use the pink here, and especially where the yellow merges into the orange, that could be an effect. You want it to look a little bit more seamless when they merge together, because the last color you're going to use is going to be black. So with the black, you're going to go around all of the parts that you left white on the paper, and that's what will make the flower pop out. For the final part of this flower, we're going to use a marker, and I have one that comes out in copper. It's the one I'm going to pick because I want this part of the flower to show. And this final piece are our red and yellow flowers.